Okay, before you ever start working on anything, make sure it's empty. Okay, I'm going to perform a simple modification to the Ruger LCR 357. Okay, you see that there's a little roll pin here, and this sight fits over a little lug that has a hole in it. And the sight picture on this is difficult in the dark. Any low light situation, you can't really make out the sight picture as well. So in order to drift out the pen safely, okay, I got a little pile of cardboard here to support it. Use my brass hammer, and I got a set of Lyman roll pin punches from Midway. And here's the HiViz sight. I'll show that to you a little closer in a second. This is the HiViz sight. Okay, the idea is that it picks up light from the barrel surface and it focuses it on this little polished end. So it gives you a little bright dot to stare at. Any kind of ambient light that strikes this tube of material, this little rod of material, makes the end glow. This is the roll pin punch, and I want you to see there's a little raised surface right in the center, and that helps it align on the roll pin so it hits the center of it. It's a pretty simple process. Okay, that's it. Almost out. A little pin out, and this blade will come right off. See, nothing to it. And you just put this on with the dot facing you. And they provide a new roll pin, not sure why, but hopefully it will go right in. Let's find out. Okay, the first thing to do is to grab the little roll pin. You know, how fat your fingers are, that can be fun. Hold them in a regular, nice jawed pliers that you can manipulate easily, and run it into the end. Okay, you don't want to start hammering it until it's actually in there. And just push it through until it's just about ready to show. Okay. And the next step would be to orient the little spot onto it. Okay. And that's when you need to drift it through. I don't want to get the hammer anywhere near my gun. Okay. I tried to drive the pen in for a second. I said, nope, that's not going to work. So I happen to have a pair of these, okay, and as you can see, these have a nice squeezing end. So what I did was I clamped it onto there, and I just pressed the pin in, and that worked. So the end result is improved sight acquisition. That's the main deal. Now I've got a little glowing dot up front. So if I'm on a dark background, I can see the sight picture better. And this is the deal installed. Let's see if I can hit that can. Apparently not. Let's get it right underneath it. Huh. Sighting through the viewfinder, so much fun. Okay, we got something a little more official set up here. This way I can see if I'm actually hitting anything, get an idea of where I'm printing. I'm not going to try shooting through the viewfinder this time. That was too weird. Okay, let's see if I can hit something. Oh, I got it right next to the bullseye. Okay, I'm just going to show you how this gun comes apart for the lubing you may want to do after 500,000 rounds. After you clean it, all the things you need to do. There's a little screw on the butt that slides out, that reveals the polymer action, which is all enclosed in here. There's only one thing you need to do. You see this is trapped underneath the gun. If you push this pin out, which you should be able to do pretty easily, see I can push it out with my finger. Just poke that out just a little bit. You don't want to push it all the way, just a little bit. And the whole point of that is to make a place to get some lube. And this is dry slide multi-purpose lubricant. Got this material suspended in there, so you want to shake it around. It's just not the liquid coming out, but all of it. I guess that's the graphite component. There's this little schnozzle, which is a real mess. Even though you got a little bit more precision, it still wants to get all over. And that's it. Just let it run into the action, and you may want to cycle the action. You know, I don't know. Pin's not in there all the way. I don't know if that's a great idea. But just let that lube get on in there, and then that works the hammer. And that's the one real part that you need to lube. I'm going to let that sit for a minute, and I'll show you the other part you lube. Okay, the other part that you want to lube is the cylinder, just a little bit. And you do that right down into this crack here. Just enough to let it drip in there. You don't want to go crazy with it. Until it spins nicely, doesn't squeak. Okay, not squeaking. You don't want too much because that just traps powder and dirt. Okay? And that's about it on this gun. You don't have to lube a bunch of other points. According to the manual, you push this out, you put a little lube in there, and it seems to me pretty obvious that you'd want to lube that. You could put a touch of lube right there, but I'd be afraid of getting too much on there and getting it just to make a big mess in here. You may want to lube the firing pin, which is right in here. But you gotta be real gentle with the amount of lube you use, or else you end up with a whole bunch of crud inside the gun, and it just collects filth. Okay, one of the nice things about a Ruger is that it doesn't hurt it to dry fire it. So you should use the trigger pull, so you don't double stroke. Get used to firing off 5 shots off this thing, and it'll find muscles that you didn't even know you had.